Crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So, it's being reported that Global Ledger's 2025 analysis of 255 crypto hacks shows attackers transfer stolen money within 2 seconds. 2 seconds. 75% of the money that's stolen transferred within 2 seconds. That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I'm just looking at my notes right here. Hack shows that attackers transfer stolen funds in as little as 2 seconds. $4.04 billion was stolen across 255 incidents, with 76% of funds moved before public disclosure. Laundering processes took 10.6 days on average in second quarter of 2025 as criminals adapted to increased monitoring. Cross-chain bridges facilitated $2.01 billion in illicit transfers. That's crazy. That's crazy. This is why I'm saying that every time there's new technology, every time there are new processes, practices, there are new ways to get around them. And I'm just saying we have to stay diligent. So when I tell you guys, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately, it's not just about investing. It's about also protecting what's yours, which is why we report on these things. In January 2026, the U.S. budget deficit dropped to about $95 billion, a $34 billion decline from January 2025, driven by higher customs duties. Just saying, you know what those are, and reduced interest payments. Adjusted figures showed a 63% decrease compared to the previous year. That's great. That's awesome. But how did we get that money? Tariffs, which means that we paid more. It means that we paid more. Because that's what taxes are. I mean, tariffs are taxes, tariffs. I'm just saying. So something to pay attention to. On Thursday at Consensus in Hong Kong, Charles Hoskinson said that Layer 0 will be integrated into Cardano. We spoke about this last week. Mr. Minisi, how are you? Oh yeah, you know what? Totally forgot to write this. Don't forget to invest in yourself today. I say it every day. And the reason why is because it's not just about your knowledge. It's about keeping your mind fresh. One of the reasons why I have a lot of people from the older generation, even older than me, following is because it keeps their mind sharp. It keeps their mind sharp. So doing your own research, having a reason to do so, all that good stuff. Don't count people out. There's a lot of knowledge with them. I talk to my mom as much as I possibly can. I do a video conference call with my mom every day. And you know what she says? Okay, what's on the plate? Like, it's a business call. I'm her son, but it's a business call. She turns everything into, what have you accomplished? What have you done? What's next? How are you doing that? What's the timeline? She's just hammering me on making sure that I stay the course. And she tells me, one of the cool things is, it's not easy doing what you're doing. It's not easy building a community like this from the ground up, from scratch, no investors, just you and your team. Putting your backs into it, putting your own money into it. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. She goes, but you're going to stay the course. And I will. Absolutely. Something else that happened. I want you to pay attention to this. The same way that Ripple has fervor after going after institutional investors is the same way that Stellar has that same fervor for going after retail investors. The Stellar Development Foundation announced a strategic integration with Topnod, a non-custodial wallet, during Consensus in Hong Kong. They are trying to get into Asia in a major fashion. They're already in Africa. They're already, all over South America. Asia's next. Just saying, pay attention to these guys. Pay attention to that team. They're doing a lot A lot, a lot. The Justice Department announced that the peer-to-peer crypto exchange Paxful must pay $4 million after admitting it profited from criminals due to weak anti-money laundering checks. Didn't we just talk about money moving in about 2 seconds? Yeah. Gotta have my morning cappuccino. I know normally it's in a big mug, but I like it to stay hot as long as possible, which is why I like a taller mug. So yeah, Paxful, 4 million. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. They didn't signal out a single human being. They signaled out the business. The business has to pay $4 million, even though humans made those decisions. Yeah, I have a gripe about that. I really do have a gripe about that. And the reason why is because a business is a business, but humans run that business. A business is not a living being. A business doesn't think. Humans think for that business. So when a human makes a decision that knowingly skirts the laws, there should be some kind of a penalty for those humans. Not just, we're protected by the business. The business will do that. No, it's not what it should be. Because then that human never learns the lesson. And here's something else I want to know. How much money did Paxful make from those transactions? I mean, let me get to my notes real quick. Paxful facilitated $3 billion in trades, generating $29.7 million in revenue. It also collaborated with Backpage, a site shut down for illegal prostitution, earning $2.7 million. Paxful shut down in November 2025 with founders facing legal consequences, sort of. But here's the thing. Looks like, sounds like they made a lot of money. Looks like, sounds like they're going to be able to keep most of it. Just saying. Thailand's cabinet approved amendments to the Derivatives Act, allowing cryptocurrencies to serve as underlying assets for regulated derivatives products. The reform aims to integrate digital assets into formal capital markets. I wish I had a teleprompter, because then I could look straight at the camera and read what I have, because I'm reading my own notes. No, I don't have it memorized. I get like 20 minutes. I can't memorize all this stuff. But Thailand's move is actually big. What does that do? It puts those new derivative possibilities in the hands of institutions that they're going to sell to regular retail investors. Like I said, you're going to see retail involvement grow in pieces all over the place. Tiny little pieces all over the place. And then what's going to happen? You're going to wake up, you're going to turn around, and just crypto's going to be everywhere. Where once it was nowhere, then it will be everywhere. And where is it starting? It's basically starting from the top down, right? It started down here, moved up here, and is coming down. Right? It's being pushed down because we were buying, retail was buying, and then all of a sudden institutions were like, oh yeah, let's get back on board. The reason why I say let's get back on board, did you hear the conversation we were having last night on last night's show? Go check it out. Some of these companies have been around for years. Years. Ripple's been around since 2014, a little bit before that. Just saying. So retail got involved, got the movement going, all that good stuff. And then when everything dissipated from the courts, that's when institutions really started getting in. Why was that? Oh yeah, Ripple, because they had a freaking stupid freaking crazy freaking team that never lost focus. They never lost focus on what they were doing, never lost focus on what the dream was. And they've achieved it, and then some. And now they've got new dreams. So you're looking at how that shift from retail to institutional back down to everybody. So it kind of went like this, and it's coming out like that all over everybody. And I'm just saying, retail has got to catch up. Retail has got to catch back up and get back involved before you wake up and realize it's here and I was unprepared. Just saying. There's a lot of stuff going on. Pay attention to it. Ethereum Foundation AI lead David Krapis, or David Krapis. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name, sir. I greatly apologize. If I catch up to you, I owe you a beer or a glass of wine. And co-founder Vitalik Buterin unveiled a groundbreaking system to enhance privacy and security in AI chatbot interactions. The solution uses zero-knowledge proofs and cryptographic methods to allow anonymous API calls without exposing user identities or linking requests. Yikes. Definitely want to look into that. Remember when I was telling you, the more the government squeezes, the more people are going to find ways to get around certain things, to protect user sovereignty, to protect data sovereignty. This is a prime example. Don't sleep on it. This is a prime example on it. Prime example. Russia is blocking WhatsApp. Russia's blocking WhatsApp. As of 2/12, Russia's Roscoe, I'm not even going to try it, removed WhatsApp from its registry, its web registry, ending its availability after months of restrictions that reduced user activity by 70 to 80%. The government pushed users toward Max, a state-backed app lacking encryption, meaning the state is going to know what you're doing and how you're doing it. Yep. Surveillance state. Ooh, that's a bad term. But yeah, that's what they're doing. That's a big deal because why? When things happen around the world, there are a couple of things that they lean on, that people lean on. One of them is private communication. What's the other thing they lean on? Crypto. Look around the world. Certain things are going on. And what's going on? They started moving their assets via crypto. Because if they have to bounce from that company, if they have to leave, country, they have to leave that country, the easiest way to take care of their assets is to get out of the banks into crypto. Now that crypto can go any place in the world. Now you're off to the races. Just saying. And you know what? To open up a bank account in another country because you're a refugee doesn't take a lot of money. Sometimes it takes none. Sometimes it only takes a couple of thousand, depending on the fiat that you're using. That's the big deal. So you can carry less money, less chance of getting robbed. You're not holding anything. And if you memorize your key phrases, yeah, exactly. MicroStrategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, plans to issue additional perpetual preferred stock to address investor concerns as its common shares fell 17%. I was watching an interview with Michael Saylor yesterday. The conviction this man has. He's like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. I was saying this last night. His line should just be, yeah, I don't care. Give me more money so I can buy more Bitcoin. Yeah, that's it. That one. I don't know anybody right now that's going to say that Bitcoin's not being manipulated. Right? It's being kept down, just like it was before. It's being kept down. Why? Because people want to accumulate. Got it. So people are buying. That's why he's not flinching. He's like, oh, well, if they're going to keep pressing it down, no worries. I'm going to buy more. Give me more money so I can buy more Bitcoin. Because when Bitcoin rises again, it'll be ridiculous. His price point for his Bitcoin, or for Strategy's Bitcoin, is below $100,000. So when it explodes again, and let's suppose it just gets to the 250 that everybody thinks it's going to get to, his price point is below 80. That's a on top of where you are. That's a 2x move. That's a 2x move up. So yeah, he's sitting back and he's going, yeah, give me more money so I can buy more Bitcoin. Worthy conviction. With how everything is being done in crypto right now, the way I look at it is, yeah, there's no way in the world that I'm not going to be paying attention to exactly how funds or how value is being moved. The future is not physical fiat, plain and simple. And governments keep messing around. It's not even going to be a CBDC. Well, I seriously doubt if it's going to be CBDCs. Some countries will have them. Some countries will not. But I tell you what, the ones that have a CBDC, they're going to have major problems. Because people aren't going to want to get paid in your fiat. They're not. They're going to want to get paid in something that's international. What's international? Oh, yeah, that's right. Crypto. Crypto's international. Crypto is international. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pay attention to that. Australia's largest bank, or second largest bank, saw its share price hit a record high of $40.20 Australian dollars, right? On this past Thursday, after reporting a $1.94 billion in cash profit. Kind of a big deal. The results followed aggressive cost cutting and $3,500 job cuts. 3,500 job cuts from another financial institution in another country. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we've been seeing that. You're pulling a profit not because you made your operations better. You're pulling a profit because you're laying people off. Just saying. There comes a point where you're going to realize, oh, that's not a good move. We had better step up our game. Some banks are stepping up their game. Some banks are not. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. We've got a lot of news to get through. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it all. The Cayman Islands government proposed amendments to investment fund laws to redefine regulation of tokenized investment funds, meaning let's get deeper. They're looking to get deeper into tokenized assets, which is a big deal. I don't know about you, but I think it's a big deal. Let's see. Today, Bitwise, a crypto index fund manager, predicted that 66% of financial institutions will enter the cryptocurrency space within the next 6 months. So DMAC, I'm calling you out. You are absolutely correct when you point out the top 4 or 5 banks in the United States that have already chosen their horse in terms of what crypto blockchain or what blockchain they're gonna leverage, maybe even what DeFi rails they're gonna use, all that kind of stuff. But that's only the top 4 or 5 firms. It's only the top 4 or 5 banks. You still have the bulk of the banking industry not involved. And what did I say last night? If they don't come up with a response for crypto, there are 2 things that they have to do. They're going to have to get on crypto rails to be able to move value cheaper, faster, more securely. 1. 2, they're going to have to find a way to offer crypto services to their current depositors. Because if they don't, they will go to other places. Now, here's the rub. If you accept one of the services, let's say from Binance, Binance has a service called Crypto as a Service, CAAS. If you choose Binance or you choose Coinbase, who does the same thing, example for Coinbase, PNC Bank. Now, hold your horses. Some of these exchanges want to be banks in the United States. Now, if I'm a bank and I cut a deal with another bank, who wins in that deal? Yeah, the crypto bank wins in that deal. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. The crypto bank wins. Why? Because you're going to onboard your fiat. You're going to on-ramp your fiat from the other bank. You're going to gain customers. So for a little while, I think PNC Bank, I thought it was a brilliant move. But when you look further down the road, it's like, holy moly, you're going to be giving up access to your customers. Maybe they will stay, but maybe they won't. Why? Because if I leave my money in the bank, I'm not really earning that much money. In terms of staking, rewards, interest, I'm not earning a lot. But if I put it over here, now I'm earning like 5% a year. I don't have to do anything. Excuse me, and I will earn 5% a year doing nothing if I leave it over there. So 0.0 blah 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 interest over here plus fees and all that stupid crap, or I keep my money in the crypto side, and what do I get? interest, staking. I get all the happy joy. That's how it's going to happen. I think that's how it's going to happen. Now, if PNC Bank is smart, they'll cut this. They've cut the deal with Coinbase, and I pray that on the back end they're working on creating their own services so they can say, okay, we don't need that deal anymore, and now we've got our own services. Just saying. Arkham Digital. I think I said, I think last night, correction from last night, I think I said Anchorage Digital. It's not Anchorage Digital. It's Arkham Digital. Is shutting down its doors. Its doors, rather. It's crypto trading platform. So great. So your exchange is going out. That's the perfect time, or the perfect time for a bank to go buy that. Hold the phone. Now, then you have NASDAQ that's already in bed with Gemini. Gemini having issues pulling out of UK, pulling out of EU, and shedding about 200 employees. They're hurting. So does NASDAQ pick them up and somebody else pick up Arkham Digital? Imagine. I don't know what's going to happen. Those are my ideas. I hope somebody takes me up on them because that would be awesome. But again, those banks that are not implementing something on their own are going to find themselves out of business. That's my prediction. Yesterday, you saw Altruist come out with a new tax advisement application that's built on AI or built with AI. It'll analyze your whole portfolio, forms everything, and get back to you and say, this is what's going on. What's that a sign of? It's a sign that tiny little Altruist can come out and punch Charles Schwab and everybody else in the jaw. They punched up. And as we all know, if you box, an uppercut is a devastating hit when delivered properly. And Altruist just did that. Then I heard an interview this morning with the CEO of Altruist, and he said, listen, you know the greatest thing about Hazel, which is the new platform? The greatest thing is that you don't have to be an Altruist client to use it. It can be used by any financial planner at any company. We want your lunch, and we're going to leave the dishes, and don't think about a tip. That's literally what they're saying. I'm just saying, there are things that we should be paying attention to, and this is one of them. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should go check out the numbers. So let me get this out of the way. All righty. Dow futures implied open 142 points up. S&P futures implied open 19 points up. NASDAQ futures implied open 55.25 points up. Oil down 0.09. US 10-year down 0.012. Very interesting, no? Very interesting. Something else that I found to be interesting. So the House voted to pull back on the tariffs from Canada, right? And the Senate already has a similar bill that's going to they'll be combined and wind up on the president's desk. Here's the problem. Here's the rub. He will veto that bill. He will absolutely veto that bill. And guess what? I don't think there's a veto-proof majority for either one of the bills, the one in the Senate, the one in Congress, right? But here's the issue. Here's something they're going to have to deal with. Lame duck president, already making threats to everybody that voted against the tariffs. That's a problem because you're not going to be here, right? And then, so not only are you going to be a lame duck president, but now if you veto this bill, whoever wins the next race, coming presidents down the road, will be able to use the same exact tool. Emergency powers. That's going to be a problem. So economically, we just picked up another massive risk. So the same way that we've been dealing with that word tariff for the past year, well, not quite past a year because it started in April. Since last April, we've been dealing with that word tariff. We can see the devastating impact that it can have on the economy, and not just ours, but around the world. it's going to have a massive impact. And guess what? That's going to be a risk that we're going to have to calculate for going forward, plain and simple. That's not something we can just, get out of real easy. Not at all. Company earnings today: Applied Materials, Arista Networks, Unilever, Anheuser-Busch, British American Tobacco. Who else am I paying attention to? Just because you're high on the list doesn't mean I'm paying attention. Airbnb, Public Storage, CBRE Group. I'd pay attention to that. Coinbase, obviously. PG&E Corporation. Restaurant Brands International is another one I'd be paying attention to. Iron Mountain Incorporated, another infrastructure I'd be paying attention to. Infrastructure in terms of how are you storing your data? How are you storing information that you must store? Iron Mountain. Now, today's Thursday. What do we get? Initial jobless claims. Yeah. Existing home sales, and Fed Governor Stephen Miran speaks. Pay attention to these Fed governors, because it's more important now than it ever has been that you have an understanding about how these people are thinking and how they would vote. Pay attention. It's a very, very big deal. Now, this guy, Stephen Miran, he's not independent. He should be. He's not. He's absolutely not. So you really want to pay attention to all of them and see where they're coming from. Because the more that you pay attention to where they're coming from, the more you can probably project where you think they're going to land on a particular vote, on a particular idea, raising rates, lowering rates, keeping them the same, right? And that's when you'll actually be able to make more educated moves. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. And how do you do that? By developing your risk framework. Just saying. I want you to take a look at this. The Fear and Greed Index is down to 5. I've seen 9, I've seen 7, and now we're looking at 5. We are living in extreme fear. Most extreme that I've probably seen in ages. Currently, total value locked, $95.666 billion in total value locked. Nowhere near where I want us to be. Looking at Bitcoin, look at this. Again, all I'm saying is right here. Look at this drop from here to here. That's a precipitous fall. Now, there's a little curve up right here. I don't know if you can see that, but right there, maybe. I mean, I was expecting the jobs numbers to not be good at all, so I was expecting to go back down. So right now, who knows? We could see a little pop up, right? Like maybe in this range, right? And is that a place where we can make money? Maybe, depending on what blockchain you're looking at, which coin you're looking at. So that's why I keep telling you guys, practice the GMB3. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. What else do we have? Looking at the big board. That's right. A lot of things are green. Hype is killing it. SUI, I told you before, SUI was on my list. HBAR. There are a lot of coins right here that are doing well, but if you pay attention, yes, everybody's down. But just because things are down does not mean you cannot make money. This is why we have the GMB3, because you can apply certain thought processes that can make you say, well, wait a minute, I might be able to make money on a down, buy in on a down, and when it pops back up, make my 5, 10, maybe even 12% at a clip. Just saying, pay attention to these things. Pay attention. There are opportunities. It's just up to you to actually pay attention and take advantage of. Now, when you're looking at the big board over here, nobody's doing well. Truthfully, I don't even care about this anymore. I mean, I do only because of these numbers. 1 hour, 24 hour, 7 day, 30 day, 60 day, 90 day, year to date. Why? Rhythm. I need to understand the rhythm. Right now, Stellar's got a good rhythm. The only thing that you have to worry about is the whole macroeconomic move. But even that will affect each coin differently. Why? Rhythm. How hard would it hit this coin versus that coin? Rhythm. If this coin's been moving well, you're probably not going to have that much of an issue. Yes, it'll go down, but you're looking at a strong coin. Case in point, Hyperliquid. Were you doing your research on that one? Just saying, not telling you what to buy, but giving you ideas on how you might think for evaluating different coins and tokens and stocks, bonds, options, all that good stuff. Something for you to pay attention to. What else do we have? That's right. We have a feed. Just saying. There's a lot of things going on over here that you could use. Just saying. Now, let's take a look at the change. And we hit 5 right here, and there's nobody on this list that I care about. Let's hit the winners. And you start to realize all the way down this list, everybody's moved. On this list, everybody's moved greater than 8, right? Greater than 8%. So that means that there were opportunities for you to make money. Why do you think I have this crypto tracker? It helps me figure out who I can make money from. Now, we've got, let's see who's the first one. Pippin, 22.81%. I do have an article on Pippin. Go over to growmybag.tv. You can check out that article. Up 22.81% with a GMB X factor of 0.02. Pippin's banging on a lot of things. I told you just a couple of days ago, Pippin was ranked 119. Now it's ranked 95. Just saying, pay attention. What else do we have? Aster up 11.034%, GMB X factor of 2.28. These are single day moves. So imagine if you just said, I'm going to take $100 and I'm going to get in on Aster. Great. I made $10. Some people were like, oh, it's only $10. It was $10. Yeah, it was $10. Pay attention. $10, $10. Do $10 10 years. 10 times, and you've made back your 100. Now, easier said than done, but still, right here is an example where you could have made 10%. For those of you that are stretching for harder coins, Bera's been in the news. Guess what? It's up 60.87% with a GMB X factor of 16.56. I never would have looked at it. But guess what? I have an article about it on the site. Just saying, there are opportunities out there if you're paying attention. I have a lot of friends that are paying attention to things, and they would have been in on that. 60% move. Let's see. Aster was a 11% move. Arweave, an 11% move. Immutable, 10% move. And you're talking about long shots. Look at these GMB X factors. That's for Immutable. I'm just saying. Is it going to make that GMB X factor? No, but it could still make money. Pay attention, folks. What else do we have? We got Pudgy Penguins up 9.23%, GMB X factor of 9.58. Radium up 8.88%. Cool number. Up with a GMB X factor of 6.58. You've got Ethereum name service, not something I own, but something I pay attention to. Up 8.71% with a GMB X factor of 13.06. Virtuals protocol up 8.65% with a GMB X factor of 7.6. Again, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Know what you're doing. Know why you're doing it. Have a reason. My reason are my kids. All my kids. That's my reason. I need nothing else. That's why I shoot these videos. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes. Tell your friends about this community because it's the only community out there that's hyper-focused on your knowledge about investing. Hyper-focused. As usual, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Me and my team will work toward that every day. If you have a chance, go over to growmybag.tv, become a member. $1 a month. That's a steal for all the tools that you get over there. All the articles, 13,000 plus. Wow. We should actually put up all our metrics, right? The number of articles, the number of videos, we should put up metrics. I'll think about that. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. on the Overflow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.